Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Greg Kibler, and today we're going to walk through gizmos a little bit. So, as far as gizmos, some of you know have probably worked with it, so we're going to just kind of go through some of the things that they offer in case you haven't been on it in a while, and then accessing it, and then getting your students into it as well. So, if you are able to kind of open up a side screen to walk along, I can actually have you guys enter into a gizmo later on to kind of see what it's like on the student end. So we can kind of walk through that as well. So the first thing I want to do is just kind of show you where to go to get to gizmos. And we do have a direct link on our staff login page, which is here. And Gizmos is under a company called Explore Learning. So we have it hyphenated so it's easy to get to. So from here, if you already have an account, you can just simply go to login. If you don't, you can sign up with our district, and we have some special instructions for signing up with our district. So if you are somebody who's already having a Gizmo account, go ahead and you can log in. For those of you that don't, I want to point out some things back on our website. So from the logins, this is actually not where you're going to find how to get into this, but if you go to departments from our website and go to teaching and learning, okay, there's actually a whole list of resources that we have based on the different content areas. So this was originally a science-based resource for the district, but it also includes math. So if you haven't seen that side of it, we'll show you that as well. But if you click on then curriculum and assessment resources, okay, you'll see how we get ELA, science, math, social studies. It's listed under the science resource page. Okay, so you'll see a lot of other resources, but mainly, and if you see me highlight right here, there's a lot on gizmos that'll help you. So if you're watching this and you want to go get started, you can go right here, and there's a lot of other things here for you. So it'll have the site that's linked to our login. The second one here, this is the registration keys for teachers. I'll click on that in a second to show you how to get logged in. There's also getting started instructions and getting started videos. So if you don't want to hear me talk for a little bit and you want to hear a professional do it, you can click there. Very simple, short, maybe 5-minute videos. To kind of just talk about what's going on. So I have them kind of brought up here as tutorial. And so getting started, it'll walk you through.
Know about the Gizmos website. In the footnotes section of the screen, there is a principal quick.
So that's available too for you guys, and there's a bunch of different topics that they can walk you through there. But getting back to our resources, we also have some Gizmo list by grade and by course. So this is done for science, obviously. It has not been done for math, but this is based on the 2017 standards for science. I know they're going to be updated this year, and so some things might change. So they won't be updated for the 2021 yet until those get released. But from grades 3 all the way through high school, there are gizmos by every grade level and course, and there's probably even more gizmos now, but they're linked by the major content areas in science for you. So if you're in 5th grade and you wanted to do something about measuring motion, there's a gizmo for that. And there's probably 2 or 3. But these are kind of more linked directly to your standards. And additionally, let's say, well, I like gizmos, but how do I really want to see it used in class? There's actually these videos. So how do you use gizmos with iPads? So if you're in a classroom with that, how do you do it via whole group or small group setting? And there's some videos that kind of walk you through real examples of educators using that. So you can kind of take a look and see how it's done firsthand. So lots of resources to help you get into using Gizmos. And these are just suggestions. There's other ways you can use them. And we'll walk through some of those. All right. So that's our list of links there. And so if you're new to Gizmos, you would click on Gizmo registration keys for teachers. Okay. So what we've done to kind of protect this from having people go from around the county to try and access, our users, we kind of have this as password protected for Gizmos. So what you would do is put in your first and last name, just so we know who's actually coming in here. And then password is, I made it up and I'm glad I kind of remembered it. Tiffany made fun of me for it. Data nerd. Okay. Oops. Let's cap it. So when you do that, you'll get a link to the registration key document. Right. So we just kind of had to password protect it a little bit. All right. Because these registration keys, once you click them, they're kind of open to to you, but we want to make sure you guys have the ability to get into them. So from here, you would simply click on the link that you're building. All right. And so just to kind of walk you through, if let's say you were at Wilson, just click open the link. Okay. And you would go through the registration process. It's pretty simple. Kind of it already has
So
my username.
there's a question.
Set a password, confirm it, and the typical thing.
There's a question, Greg.
There's a question.
It says,
Oh,
I use this. That's okay. I used this program 3 years ago. Do I need to use it again? And I believe she is 4th grade. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure 4th grade. So what's your?
As far as need to use, it's a
I think
great
she means
resource.
does she need to register again?
Gotcha. Okay. No, you can recover your account. You don't have to re-sign up. This is just in case you have not registered. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So this is just if you're new to Gizmos. If you already have your account, you're fine to sign it. Okay. So with that link, it'll get you to register, and I believe it'll ask you for that registration key number, which is listed here. Okay. So you'll have that available to you. All right. So once you're in Gizmos, okay, you can log in and we can start using. Okay. All right. So with Gizmos, so you're looking at my Gizmo page, and what I have here are my classes all kind of set up here. And so right now I'm actually going to delete one of my classes here. I think I've added all that I can. Actually, I don't think it'll let me delete. Oh, here we go. And you'll notice once you go to your home page and clicking on the class, you'll have a tab up here or a plus sign to add other classes. It'll only let you have 6 classes maximum. So if you have more than 6 classes, which I don't think many people do, but depending on what you teach and how you want to teach it, you might have to get a little creative with how you want to name them and have people get enrolled into them. But what you'll see here is, again, just talking about how easy to use Gizmos is. Helpful articles are right there. So if you have any questions about anything we do and you don't want to come back and watch the video, just kind of click on here and it should have what you're looking for the most part. So what we have here is our list of classes, okay? All right, and what you can do is when you click on Manage Class is we can add a heading, import Gizmos for that class. We can rename it. So if we want to name our class, there's a tab heading, which you guys kind of see up top here now that it's a little shaded, but it'll only let it be 8 characters, where your full name of it can be something else. So maybe instead of training, you just wanted, if you just wanted it to be math 5, you can change that, save it. So it's easier. But if you look up here in the top right, in the drop down, it'll show that full title. So just make sure you keep those titles similar on how you're going to do it. Okay. What you'll see here in my class are basically a bunch of gizmos. These are instructional tools that are basically simulations. And when I think of them for science, I think of them as mini experiments that you get to do and don't have to use, resources over and over and over again, or spend tons of time trying to build up, trying to set up, reset up, clean up, that kind of thing. And so to add gizmos to a class, it's pretty simple. When you get to that manage class, okay, it says import gizmos. Oops, sorry, not that one. We can simply find a gizmo up here and add it to our class. All right, there's a lot of different ways to look up gizmos. All right, so you can search by just typing in at the top. They have gizmos by academic standard. So let's say, I teach 5th grade math, okay, and I wanted to figure it out, and we clicked on by standard. Okay, we have our academic standard list by state. So we go to Ohio, and if we want, what did I say, 5th grade math, we can either do the Common Core state standards or the learning standards, which is what we should be doing here, but they do have both listed. And it'll basically list your 5th grade math standards and what gizmos should be used to help teach those concepts or demonstrate them. I'm not a 5th grade math teacher, so I don't know what would be good, but this one looks interesting. Treasure hunter, decimals on the line. Okay. So if that's one I wanted to add to my class, okay, simply hit the add to class button and you pick the class you want it for. Okay. If we go back to my class, I think I have a bunch of gizmos on here. Let me see where it should have added it right at the bottom there. All right, so you can move all of your gizmos around. Okay, if you wanted this one up at the top, whatever order you want them in. Maybe you want them grouped by a unit that you're doing or something else. That's entirely up to you. But they are easy to move around. All right. Other ways that you can find gizmos, they have by grade and topic and by textbook. So if you come down here, they have a list of textbook publishers. We can see if we can find them. McGraw-Hill, I don't think they have ours. But, if we change to, or here we go, Glencoe, McGraw-Hill, there it is. So for some of those, you can look and see if you want to go by textbook. I'll be honest, the easiest thing is really just to type in there. So, I know one of the things that as a science teacher, I always had to teach was motion. And so when I type in something like motion, it's so simple. It comes up with all kinds of possibilities for motion. Let's say we wanted to look at, orbital motion, if we were talking about the stars. Okay, this would be one to kind of look at. And every gizmo has a little description of what it's about. Okay, so you'll have, this one's talking about the laws of planetary motion. And then you'll see a bunch of different little icons down here that kind of show you some other things you can do with gizmos. All right. And so one of the things that they will all have is assessment questions with each gizmo. Okay, so whatever you're doing, there's some pre-made questions that you can kind of do on a virtual quiz, which is kind of neat. So if you went through that actual gizmo, then there's a 5-question little quiz to check your understanding of what this interaction was all about. Okay, and you can have students take that at the end of whatever you're doing with them. All right. What I'd like to do is I'm going to go back to my class because there's a couple other things I want to show you before we launch into the gizmos. Okay. So on this class, right now you're seeing my view of this. And you'll see some of these are in bold, some of these are kind of grayed out. And the reason for that is this little eyeball icon. Right? So when I click that, it has the ability to hide or show gizmos when a student is enrolled in your class. Okay, it's that simple. If you ever want to delete a gizmo from your class, simply hit an X and it's gone. There's different options to add a heading above there, move it up, move it down, hide it from the students. And so a bunch of different options on how you want to have this viewed visually. So what you see up in the upper right-hand corner and why you would want to hide gizmos is, let's say you only want students to access the gizmo of the thing that you're learning. Because gizmos are fun. They're like games, they're interactive. And sometimes the kids, when they're there, they might want to go look at another gizmo that might be a little bit easier or maybe something that's not on topic. And so this is your way of kind of controlling how the students are able to interact with the software. All right. So once you have the gizmos you want them to see, they would be in bold only. So maybe just one at a time, maybe just the ones for that particular unit. That's up to you. But all the ones that are grayed out, a student would not see. So once they're enrolled in your class, they would only see the ones that are in bold here. So typically only do 1 or 2 at a time. I see we have a question. Is the assessment automatically graded? The assessment is automatically graded. So we're going to get into a little bit more into the assessments in a little bit. So just hang on a minute because I'm going to have you guys actually go through a gizmo and answer some questions. Okay. Let's see here. Just looking at my notes to make sure I go over everything for you. All right. Manage class. All right. So the way to enroll students is within your class, you'll see a little class enrollment code right up here. Okay. And this is what the students would need to enroll into your class. So what they would do is if we go back out to our homepage, for students. They would go to Gizmo, log in, which is just the home. All right, now Chon, I'm already in, but they have a student class enrollment code. All right, so for the code for my class, okay, when I click on it, it makes it nice and large. You'd be able to enroll as a student. Okay, so now if you guys wanted to join my class, you can go ahead and open up a tab, and if you're able to kind of split screen, your computer to see both what we're doing and the tab, you can feel free to do that. And this is the enrollment code that you would need. Right? So if you just kind of copied that, I'll put that code in the chat for you guys. All right. You just put it in the class enrollment. All right. Now I'm already enrolled, but it'll allow you to add. All right. Now, as a teacher, you'll see your class roster. All right. And so as students enrolled, this is where things sometimes get a little confusing. And I've seen this as the years have kind of gone on with Gizmos. And that is, you know, teacher 1 year will be like, okay, we're going to do Gizmos. And then the next year, student tries to enroll using their first and last name, their email. And it says that they already have an account, but they can't remember their password. So what would be good is that at the end of, you know, the year, to kind of clean out your class list on Gizmos, just to kind of make it a little bit easier on them. But as a teacher, let's say, you know, they started in the fall and then they forgot their password, you know, the next month, the next day, you have the ability to see, you know, the passwords that they have. Okay. And you can add students yourself. So if I wanted to add Tony Stark, okay, I could add it and I can see you guys are adding in, and it'll automatically assign username and password. So that's a little tip for you guys. As teachers, you can always go and see what their password is in your class. So you have that ability. All right, so then once they're enrolled, okay, they're going to see just those Gizmos on your list. And so the Gizmo that's kind of pretty standard to kind of go into is this growing plants one. All right, so when you're ready to go into one, we'll get into and we'll launch.
So there's a question that says, where do we add his class?
Okay.
So they would need to go out as a student, right? To join your class?
Oh, to join the class, yes. You would have to log out of your teacher account and then go to the student login and use that login code.
Okay,
So
Greg,
nice.
I'm getting the bar that says teacher users may not enroll in a class as a student.
Yeah, I just used a different email, made up something.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. So just to kind of see, you know, from the student side, it's kind of nice. And then you guys are seeing my side as a teacher, or you would see as the teacher. So if you're, let me see where we're at. Do you guys want me to hold it off so you guys can get enrolled, or do you want me to keep going? I'm fine either way.
I think you can keep going.
Okay. All right. So once they're enrolled, they would see your Gizmo list. And so when you pick a Gizmo that you want the students to do, you would launch, okay? This little purple launch button. Okay. And so this is Growing Plants. This is one that they actually train teachers to use. And before you start kind of messing with all of this, it's important to kind of go down here and see some of the information that you have on the actual gizmo. All right, so we have the assessment questions that are automatically graded. What's really nice is, let's say I'm just going to click through A for all of these. And let's say I wanted to check my answers. So the individual student can check their answers. They'll see how they did. They'll see what the correct answer was and the explanation for it. So what I really like about Gizmos is when the student takes this assessment, which whenever you do this, you really should try and save it for the last thing that they do. It gives them an explanation of what is good or bad about their answer and where they kind of went wrong. So it's kind of nice in guiding the student into, why a certain answer was correct. Okay, with all of these. Up at the top, you'll see lesson info. All right, and before we launch it, that's accessible there as well. But what you're going to see here is 4 main things with every lesson. One is the student exploration sheet answer key, the teacher guide, and a vocabulary sheet. Now here's what's great about Gizmos. You're seeing there's the PDF little icon, and then right below it, there's a Microsoft Word version. So if I open up this Microsoft Word, so I have to download real quick. And if I open it up, are you seeing my Microsoft Word?
No.
No.
You might have to share your desktop, not just your.
Yeah, I got it. Gotcha. Okay, how about now?
Yep.
Okay. So here's the Gizmo student exploration sheet for growing plants. Okay. Let's say, all right, so it starts off with some vocabulary. Let's say you want to add vocabulary. Let's say, all right, they have variable, but you don't really want variable. Let's say you want to include things like independent variable and dependent variable. This makes it good because I can't spell. You can add whatever vocabulary you want. You can change questions that you want. You can change what you have them designed to do. So for here, here's how these exploration guides kind of work. They're going to have some initial questions, so prior knowledge. They're going to list vocabulary, and then they're going to get into a warm-up. These are kind of like your, if you think back to GRR, these are kind of like the easier kind of walkthrough of the Gizmo piece. So it tells you kind of what to do, choose a seed, click on the light bulb to turn them on or off. So it's really walking you through what to do. And these should be pretty standard answers, all right, when they walk you through these. So you should be looking for a particular answer when you do this, because it's telling you do this, drag here, okay, and then hit play. So it's walking you through how to use that Gizmo rather than just letting the students on and they kind of click and go wherever. All right, so then it'll get you into, a second activity, okay? Form a hypothesis. So this one's talking about, do you think seeds need water to start growing? Explain why or why not. And then it has you set up 3 pots very specifically. And then goes through the experiment, collecting the data, drawing conclusions. So all going through that scientific process. All right. And then they have a second activity. Now you don't have to have the students do all these activities at once. You can do this. It's great to kind of walk them through an activity if you're doing, this a little bit of direct instruction and, you're showing them how to do it. And then you take them, then they go and do the second activity with a small group or a partner, depending on, what you're planning on doing for that activity. So there's normally 2 or 3 activities per Gizmo already put in there. Okay, that's the student exploration sheet. It comes with an answer key. Vocabulary sheet, and again, this is both PDF and Word. So either one is available to you. So you can change what these vocabularies are if you do the Word version. All right. And there's a teacher guide.
There's a question. Can you
Yes.
put this into Google Classroom to where the students can record their own answers? Like if you put it as a Google Doc, convert it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you can get, so with what I would do to get it into Google Classroom would be to get the Microsoft Word version and then open it up in your Drive and convert it into a Google Doc and then have the students make copies. Okay. Oops. So that teacher guide, let's say you're going over a concept and you want this is going to actually walk you through, you know, some guided things of how long things should take based on, you know, this particular gizmo and activities that you should be doing. So the lesson overview, the first activity, students are exploring, then they examine, and then they create their own. All right, so it's kind of in that hierarchy kind of progression. They give you some examples of some discussion questions that you can ask the students if you're doing this whole group, or maybe they're doing it in a small group and you kind of just give them a little question while they're going through it. A little bit of the scientific background, if you want to make that connection to whatever text you're using. And then they always include these web resources. So some extra resources on the topic that you're kind of talking about. And at the very bottom here, you're going to see they have related gizmos. And so the related gizmos are, maybe there's a topic that you want to move to next and go a little bit deeper on. Or maybe you're trying to get some of those kids that are a little bit more advanced to go a little bit deeper. This is a great place to kind of make that connection for them and go a little bit deeper for them. So it's kind of nice in that sense. It's going to kind of walk you through how to get that extra learning potential for those students. All right. All right, so that's the lesson info right there. All right, the questions. And so basically with the gizmo itself, all right, so this particular gizmo, you're growing plants. So you're able to pick from different supplies. So we have tomato, bean, turnip, and there's fertilizer and compost. So if you want to see what makes a plant grow the best, you know, you can design an experiment however you want. You know, you pick, you know, whatever variable you want. Let's say we want to grow some tomatoes. All right. And we can set different amounts of water for them. And we would just simply hit the play button to see what would happen. Okay. And it'll run for a period of time. All right, and what you're seeing down here is this one's going through, it's counting how many days it takes for plants to grow. All right, and so you're going to see where your results are. This one, you know, lots of water, doesn't look very green. No water, this one didn't grow. Medium amount of water, this one grew, looks kind of green. You can play up here for this particular one to change the lights. Maybe you want less light, more light, and can run through it again and again. What's great is you're able to redo experiments quickly without needing any resources. And then let's say you wanted them to create, show me your results and put it into Google Classroom. Okay, great. There is a little camera button up here. You click that, it's taking a screenshot of what they did. So if you want them to record, you know, what they did, it's really quite easy. And it prompts you, right click on the image to copy or download. So if they wanted to We right click, we could copy it and put it in a Google Doc with our explanation of what we did in our experiment. So whatever your assignment probably was, you can just, have them take screenshot of each one of those. Now this one's set up, they have 3 different trials, so they could take pictures of those individually. Another one, tab up at the top here, always goes to a data piece. So if we ran an experiment, okay, like this one, what you're seeing here is the data kind of pops up live from that experiment. So the number of days the plant was growing, pot A, pot B, pot C, a charting of height. You can have them click to see the numbers. You can choose whether you want a bar graph, maybe you want a line graph. We can look at the plant mass versus the plant height. And then we can take, again, our screenshot to say, okay, here was my data for this experiment. And then you ask them some questions about it. Okay, what was the reason for, the height versus the time of the day? And so on. And so this is just one of the gizmos that you can really kind of dive into. But each one has both an experiment side, typically, and a data side. So any kind of, at least on the science end of things, if you're trying to get data out of an experiment, this is the way to do it. All right, questions so far?
I don't see any more right now.
Okay. Alrighty. All right, so.
There was a question. It says, can you show us a math gizmo if you have
Yeah,
time?
absolutely. Math gizmo. Trying to think of what a good one would be. All right. Do you guys have a grade level math that you want to see?
Fourth grade?
Fourth grade.
Okay. Grade and topic. Gizmos. All right. So math 3 to 5. Let's do some perimeter area and volume. Okay. So Fido's flower bed. All right. So again, there's lesson info. All right. So we can talk teacher guide, exploration, vocabulary sheet, etc. There's one other thing I didn't mention before. So you see this full lesson info. There's a page that's kind of dedicated to the overview of the gizmo itself. And again, lesson materials are right there. The learning objectives are right here in case you need to put that into a lesson plan template. And then below, a lot of gizmos, people use gizmos actually a lot, and it's not just like our district. But there's a lot of materials that people were like, you know what, I like this, but I want to do it my way. And so they took that Microsoft Word version and converted it and shared it with all Gizmo users. So when we were talking about Google Docs, a lot of them have Google Docs for student exploration sheet right there. You can just have the student, make a quick copy. But there's different lessons that people made for this particular gizmo. And I know we'll get into the math in just a second, but some of them are actually translated into Spanish for you. And I'm not verifying the accuracy of that translation, but it is available there, which might be a good resource for you if you have any English learners in your classroom. And you see here, show remaining lesson materials. Right, there's a whole list of different assessments. So this particular teacher wanted to adapt it for metric. everybody kind of has their own take on how they feel they should use it. And so they kind of add them here. This one did a landscaper activity. Okay, and so you can kind of take those, download them, they're all free, and use it however you want. Okay. Some of these will have lots from the community because they're just popular gizmos. Some might only have one or two. But I know since they launched Gizmos, they've kind of been getting more and more and keeping obviously the better ones from the community up towards the top for you to take a look at. All right. So for this one, again, we have our assessment questions at the bottom. What is the area and perimeter of this garden? Okay. Everything in here looks like it's in square yards, so that you have basically an empty field. You have some fencing supplies, so you can tell them, make, a particular yard that has so many square yards, and you click and drag to build whatever you wanted them to build. All right, so you'll notice on this math one, we don't have separate tabs for experiment versus data. This is more for when we look at the lesson info going through, a particular lesson. There's an auto fence button for this one, so you can kind of keep it like that. You can jump to a pre-built one. All right, you can put the fence on it, and they have these little characters that kind of go through. But again, this is dealing with yards, and so if you did want it for metric, that other one could be done as well. So if we look at that lesson info, that student exploration sheet, what are they trying to do? Kind of a warm up. Okay, how do we make the fence so that all sides are touching? They give you an example of what's okay, what's not okay. And then they walk you through building. Okay, we have a design for this one. Okay, how many square yards is this one? And some more activities. So you can see here it looks like a pyramid style fence. This one's the letter U. You can do all kinds of creative things. Not a math teacher, so I don't know what else you would do with a sod garden or a flower bed, but those options are there for you as well. I'm going through my notes to look to see if I think I covered everything. I think that's about all there is on Gizmos. Really, the biggest thing I would say about Gizmos is really just a search for, whatever Gizmo topic you're looking for, and add them to certain classes. There's all kinds, and my side of this is I have a really good background on the science end as far as what I'm looking for. What's even better is if you are a teacher of science and to some degree math, this is a very interactive resource, and what it's taking you through is the same things that students are asked to do on the air assessment. I know we didn't have them this year, but if you want to get your students used to doing something on a computer where they're manipulating variables and having to answer questions based on things that they interact with, this is the tool to do it. This one's a free fall tower to kind of show the difference in speed and drop and gravity. And they're animated well for kids to kind of really show, make it fun. This one, they have you can drop a watermelon from a tower and see, and it breaks open. So it's fun, and the more you explore, the more you can kind of create how you want to do it with them.
Yeah, and I'm going to
Uh,
back up with Greg. I'm just going to say, if you have not seen fifth grade math or science test or the eighth grade science test, these are the kind of things that are on there, like he said. And in fifth grade, it's been that world famous by the water with the kinds of plants. And there's certain kinds of plants, and they take over, and they have to actually walk through something like this. So if our students haven't seen it before fifth grade, that fifth grade teacher is going to be struggling to get them onto this. So it'd be great if we could start before that.
yeah. Fifth grade, yeah, the ecosystem part. They talk about exactly what you're saying there. The other big one I know in fifth grade is the seasons, Earth, Moon, and Sun.
Yes.
This is a great one, talking about how do we know what time of year it is. I can guarantee you every class in fifth grade across the state struggles with this main concept, because it's just something hard for that age for them to get with the tilt of the earth. And so this is a great way to really help them visualize it. And it does a great job. So if you haven't seen this one, it's kind of neat.
So I have a question. Did you save a Microsoft Word version of one of these?
Of
One of the ones that you clicked on?
Yeah.
I just wonder if you
Yeah.
should show real quick, if you go to your drive, where that convert button is. So this one's called what?
Oh, yeah.
Plans. Could you just show that?
Yep. The computer's lagging. There we go. All right. So if I want to upload file, and growing plants. Man, home internet is not like the schools.
That's okay. That's all right. Can you go up to your little settings icon at the top to make sure that people have the convert button on? Yeah, it's under there. If you click there and go to settings, make sure the little square is checked that says convert. If not, it will still be a Word document. It won't automatically convert it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And so I just went up here. Where to go? Growing plants. And so here's it is as a Google Doc now. All the same instructions we had before, and you can still, alter it. And, students, they can type in, I think that.
And then Greg, I always had my students like write in a different color. They had to put their answers in a different color than the question.
Great tip. Yeah. Great tip.
Not only they love that, they love picking their own color.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see here. If this was Tiffany's paper, it would be as bright as possible, right?
It would be, yes.
Okay. Any other questions for Gizmos? Anybody? I know, Mark, I think you've used Gizmos before. Anything you want to add that maybe I missed?
I wanted to back up to Cheryl's previous question. She had said, can the grades be imported to Progress Book or Google Classroom? So if they assigned the Google Doc in Google Classroom, they could grade it there, and then that could be imported to Progress Book, correct?
From Google Classroom, yeah, if you put it in there like that. If we go, I'll show you what the results kind of look like from an assessment.
And while you're doing that, Cheryl asked, can you type on a PDF? I thought you just said that the Microsoft Word doc.
Yeah,
But when you put it, yeah.
So the Gizmos offer both PDF and the Microsoft Word. The Word is the one that you can change. So let's say you want to send a document to the students where you don't want them to change it, you would send it via PDF. If it's something that you want them to kind of edit and answer questions like what we just showed with the Google Doc, then I would send it that way. All right. So what you can do is you can kind of see a class results all at once. So I have, all the students here, we just have one person who took it, but you would see, if everybody took it, you would see which one was the most missed. You can reset student scores here. So let's say you want to make, maybe they do it initially before you really explain to them the concept. So you can record all those and then you can kind of maybe reset them so that they, try again, you can see their improvement as well. You can print them, but as far as going directly from here into Google Classroom, I don't believe that option exists yet for Gizmos. But as far as this is an easy way to kind of take, your students and their totals. You can probably just transfer it over into Progress Book fairly easy with a percentage or a number out of 5. They're always 5 questions. They're never more, and they're the same ones. They don't change. I know it would be nice to have different 5 questions or rotate them in and out. Unfortunately, they just don't do that. That's one of their limitations. All right. Anything else?
Greg, I in 5th grade,
Yeah.
Taft, I used this a lot this year because the air changed last year to a lot of this type of questions, and it really scared me going into this year. So most of my science this year was Gizmos driven. I would
Awesome.
maybe start a reading and then find some way to incorporate the Gizmos in. The first few we did at the beginning of the year were very, very tough. I basically walked them through almost questions. By the time Christmas came, they were doing these on their own. I could just sit back and watch them really soak it up. So I just want to take a lot of that front load beginning, but once they got it, it was great to see them work on it. It really was.
Yeah. And I know, Mark, you're in a position with 5th grade, you have that state test. There's not that in 3rd or 4th. So, it's kind of a big change for some of those students going into 5th grade to kind of have that dedicated time in science, that, dedicated time gearing up towards this and, really doing that more interactive piece. And again, that would be something that I would say, our resource area, just to kind of review where we were at the beginning, there is some videos on how to get students started, using an iPad, using it whole group, small group, and those would be some great resources if you're new to using this on how to get started with Gizmos for your students. Just kind of seeing it visually happen is always, I know I'm a visual learner. I like to see it done before I try it sometimes. So that's a reference there for you guys as well.
Yeah, Tiff, if we do Tech in the Yo, I don't know what's going to happen with that this summer, but this might be a good one of using this, but in a Google Classroom platform, how to incorporate both of them together. If we can get training on that.
Okay, because we usually have Gizmos. We'll just tell them that's what we want our focus to be.
Especially if we start the year off virtually somehow, where we can't see the students and see what they're doing, transfer for this really into a Google, combine the two somehow.
Yeah, I think that they would be willing to do that for us.
Great.
Yeah, we're trying to think outside the box.
Yeah, we were just talking about that yesterday.
Yep.
Cheryl just asked if it's possible to do Think Circle in Google Classroom also.
Yeah, they have a lot of remote resources out there right now from Think Circa. I don't know if you were on the call with her. And it connects right directly to Google Classroom, ThinkCirca. You can assign them directly to Google Classroom from ThinkCirca. So they're already integrated. But yeah, that's a good idea, Cheryl.
Awesome.
All right, I'm going to, let me grab the survey real quick.
Tony said our school bought the Reflex Math that is part of this, but Kathy Dorbish bought it and Mr. Bowie renewed it. Our school is having trouble adding new students because they aren't on the Reflex roster. I have asked and asked for help for all the teachers. Can we get help from someone from tech? I even asked Reflex Math.
Huh. Yeah.
Is
I-
Reflex Math is a part of Gizmos, correct?
It's part of engaged learning, yes.
That's what I thought. Were they rostered last year? I thought they were rostered last year.
You know what? I'm not familiar because they kind of did that initially with like a grant to do Reflex. And so I didn't really see it being used. But we can reach out to our rep to see what we can do.
It was a grant to start with, but then the teachers liked it so much that Kathy got it for us. But our problem is we can't get new students to our building because they're not originally on it, and now Kathy's gone. And
Mhm.
so we can't put new students, like say I got a new student today, I can't put them into the program.
Okay.
And so like with this year being new, I couldn't put like at least 6 kids into it. And I mean, we paid a lot of money for it, and there's a lot of us teachers that want to use it, but we can't.
Okay. I'll reach out to our Gizmo rep and kind of see what we can do. We'll go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I know there's at least 4 teachers that keep asking me about it. And like I said, I put fake kids in. I figured out how to do fake kids and give them fake names, but
Mhm.
I want them to have their own certificates and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how they do that rostering procedure because I think that was John that might have helped with that initially. So
I think it might be as simple as giving one of the teachers administrative rights, to be able to go in and add students to the school roster,
okay.
but nobody will do it or can do it.
Yeah,
It's
no
just not
problem.
happening.
Gotcha.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, I wanted to take this course today because I used this in 6th grade a couple years ago, but I didn't use it with my 4th graders. And the math one you just showed me, I actually use with my 6th graders.
Oh,
I was
okay.
trying to figure out how to make it so it would be for the lower level because I do special ed and some of my 4th graders are like 1st and 2nd grade levels.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to play with it to see how I
Yeah.
can reach all the students.
Yeah, and again, this is designed for grades 3 and up. So even with math, I think, and I'm not as familiar with Reflex. I think that goes a little bit lower. But
Yeah.
the Gizmos itself is designed for grades 3 and up. So I don't know that you'll get much below that level.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good day, everyone.
You too.